Hey guys, welcome to part 4 of our series. What we've been talking about this week are the hard topics: depression, loneliness, and fear. And today I want to talk about anxiety and worry. And here's what I believe. I believe that we have 3 parts to who we are. We've got a physical body, that's like your bones and your liver, etc. And then you've got a soul, and that's your emotions. That's when you cry, that's when you laugh. It's not your bones and your liver that are making you cry and laugh, okay? So that's your personality, and that's your thoughts too. And then we've got a third part, which is the spirit. Now, most people, everybody agrees we've got a physical body, or 99% of people, right? And then most people agree, I think, that we have a soul of some sort, okay? Now, we might define soul differently, but we've got this personality, we've got these emotions, we've got these feelings, right? Most people will probably not agree that we have a spirit as well. And there'll even be confusion about how do we separate soul and spirit. Now, how does this all relate to anxiety? I believe it relates because, let me take a weed, for example, okay? So everything you can see on the outside of the weed, okay, let's just call that the anxious parts of you that impact your body, right? So when you get this headache, right? So anxiety is a weed, right, in your life. Anxiety is a weed in your life. So, but how does it present itself? Well, the part of the weed that you can see, right? You're looking in your yard, you can see it. That's the headaches. That's the things that affect you physically. That's the part that affects this first part of who you are, right? The stomach aches, the headaches, the lack of sleep, and therefore you feel groggy, all that kind of stuff. The second part is the inside of the weed, but not the roots. Just the inside of the weed that makes the weed work, makes the weed act, all that kind of stuff. That's your soul. That's the personality. That's the thoughts. That's the emotions. But then there's the spirit part, and that's the roots of the weed, right? Now remember, all of the weed is anxiety, right? But the different parts of the weed are impacting or representative of different parts of who you are. The outside of the weed, once again, the physical body. The inside of the weed, but not the roots. That's what makes the weed, what it looks like and who it is, right? And that kind of gives it life, right? Unfortunately. And carries that and gives it a personality. That's the soul. And then you've got the spirit, and that's the roots. If you only pull out the weed but don't get the roots, then it's going to grow back. Once again, it's such a simple concept, you already know it, but if you pull out the weed and don't get the roots, it's coming back. Here's what a lot of people try to do when dealing with anxiety. They deal with the physical body, maybe that's like prescription drugs. They deal with the soul, that might be like, thinking good thoughts, saying affirmations over and over, trying to be grateful and say a list of 100 things you're grateful for. Both of those, I'm not saying either one of those are bad, but they'll only deal with those two, and they don't deal with the root. They don't deal with the spirit part. Now, the spirit part is the part of us that connects with God, right? Now, if we're not connecting with God, then we are susceptible to attack from the enemy, okay? God has an enemy. His name is Satan, right? There are angels and there are demons. There is a war going on. If you've never read the Bible, or if you've read it many times, look up Ephesians. Ephesians is in the New Testament. It's a letter that Paul wrote. Ephesians chapter 6. You can read about the spiritual war that is happening all the time. And the bottom line is, when it comes to anxiety and worry, that you're going to feel it in your physical body, absolutely. It's going to take over your soul, your thoughts, and your minds. Of course, they're affecting your physical body, so that makes sense. You're going to feel it there. But I'm telling you, there's the unseen part, just like the roots of the weed, that's really causing the rest of it. It's a domino effect. And when your spirit is not connected to God, when your spirit is not controlled by God, when you haven't given your life over to God through Jesus Christ and what he did for us on the cross and in his resurrection, allowing us to be connected to the Father who created us. When we don't have that connection, when God's not in control of our lives, here's what's going to happen. If God's not in control, then somebody else is in control. And that somebody else does not have good plans and good thoughts for you. So that somebody else will control your spirit. That's the domino effect. They'll give you thoughts that are not good thoughts. You'll wake up in the middle of the night with bad thoughts. You'll wake up in the morning with bad thoughts, with scary thoughts, with anxious thoughts, right? It'll flood your emotions. It'll flood your personality. Depending on who you are and the uniqueness of you, it'll impact you in different ways. And then, of course, as your emotions get flooded, as your thoughts get flooded, it'll impact how you feel, how you operate your body. So what I want to tell you is, if we want to deal with anxiety and worry, you've got to deal with the roots, not just the weed on top, right? Not just what it looks like. You can't just change it a different color. And, not just the weed itself above ground and pull it out, but you've got to get the roots. And the root is, whoever controls your soul is going to impact how you feel in your body. So you've got to take one step before your soul and go to that spiritual part. And you've got to give yourself over to the one who created you, who has great plans for you, and only will do good for you. It's going to do great things for your soul, which will impact your body. And you'll go everywhere, and no matter what happens in your day, you will feel so much joy because the one who made you is in control of your life. And if he's not in control, though, I'm saying to be somebody else in control, where you are always going to deal with the same root issues because you know how it works with the weed. If you don't get the root, it keeps growing up. So tell me, why are you anxious today at 35 years old or 45 years old or 25 years old about the same things for the most part you were anxious about 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 1 year ago, whatever it was? Because the root hasn't yet been dealt with. Deal with the root. And I'm praying for all of us that we can deal with the root, and you'll deal with the soul and the body, and you'll really be free of a lot of this anxiety that you might struggle with. All right, thank you guys.